Welcome to the Great British Dig.
I'm a commercial archaeologist, so digging in the back garden is definitely not my day-to-day job, but I like it. The reason why I've called you over is to show you this beautiful core of a wall. And it's not just any wall, it's a part of the fort. Ooh. It doesn't look like much, but it is, and it's really significant because we know around 126 AD they started to build it, so it's pretty early. And even better, this is the earliest bit of archaeology we've got across all other gardens that we've been investigating.
Oh, that sounds great.
Brilliant. Yeah. When you look closer, you realise they're actually made of rocks piled on top of one another. She was definitely a woman of means. She had gold earrings as well as a pouch that contained a small mirror meticulously decorated with blue beads. Radiocarbon dating showed that she was between 25 and 28 years old when she died. But that in itself isn't significant, because the lifespan of a woman from the Iron Age would have been around 30 years old anyway. Now, this is the interesting part. These animal patterns mirror the tattoos found on the body of a Pazyryk warrior chief dug from the ice earlier this century.
Wow, I was not expecting this.
Some early finds start to make an appearance.
Right, so I'm just exposing the skull, and we actually have two. There's a lot going on. So do you have any idea what this could be?
I reckon a bowl.
Yeah, a bowl.
Oh, look at the vicinity that we're in right now. This could have been a part of the storage vessel.
A unique petroglyphic complex with particular significance in the study of ancient spiritual cultures in Eurasia. My name is Natasha, and today we're in the Kamyana Mohyla.
We are traveling 540 miles south up the Nile River to the city of Aswan, which sits on the northern tip of this 600-mile area. Natasha Billson is an archaeologist and expert.
We have something called the Elephantine papyri. Now, archaeologists in 1907 to 1908, they discovered these lost, forgotten documents. They're documents that show 200 years' worth of Jewish occupation on an island in South Egypt called Elephantine Island. We have evidence of a Jewish temple.
A temple being built on this island.
Yes.
In the summer of 1939, as World War II loomed, an unimaginable discovery was unearthed in the east coast of England, Suffolk. Just imagine, around 1400 years ago, people would have hauled a 27-metre ship from the river to the countryside where the boat was buried, along with the king's possessions, earthly goods. Can you imagine the spectacle of that? They did that because they wanted people to remember it and to have legends about this king.
The burials date to the 7th century AD. The people buried here left no written records, so it's impossible to know exactly who they were. But historians strongly suspect that Sutton Hoo was a cemetery of the royal dynasty of East Anglia, the Woofingers, who claimed descendant from the god Woden.
I've just started excavating the ribs. What's interesting is that we actually have two bodies, one on top of the other. We have this in situ individual, which has most likely not been truncated or disturbed as much as right here. A lot of people may assume that they were actually buried together. So we know it's a female, 11 to 15-year-old.
I think that's astonishing, isn't it?
When we were cleaning up the dental area, we noticed these horizontal lines, which were suggestive of dental hyperplasia. Now, this implies either malnutrition or a disease.
The woolly rhino remains are between 10,000 and 34,000 years old. So it's possible that Sasha ran from a cave-line attack, but the bursitis might have meant that the little rhino wasn't fast enough to escape.
It's Russian. Here we have Riga, as in Riga in Latvia.
That is a specific factory in Latvia, in Riga?
Yeah, in Riga. The thing that we need to note is that we know from 1892 the factory was established. This is during the Russian Empire, and Riga was a part of the Russian Empire. It's been quite interesting. We were hoping to get the foundations, maybe the floor, but we didn't. What we got was these random timbers, so it looks something more structural, Could be part of the outside house. We're not sure if it's associated with the foundations. The main thing for us is that we've got, what, 50 to 100 years before this whole cliff goes due to coastal erosion. So it's quite important that we get as much archaeological investigation done as possible.
We're not going to take 50 to 100 years doing this, though, are we?
I hope not.
No.